Yeah, I'm gonna try and pull that up so you guys can see. It's one thing that I've been hammering basically since the I can't remember who originally brought this to my attention, but the dude's a genius and I ended up following him. But this was going all the way back to last summer. He's basically said he told me like Hex is a Veblen good, and he learned about it in his economics course. And basically, it's a good that demand goes up as price goes up. And think about it, like if you have a money printer and the money printer starts printing you more money, then you're gonna want more of it because it's like, oh, like this
I
is
get more
awesome.
money. I get print more money. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it keeps going up in value, and it's bringing you more money, and so
Yep.
obviously that's a self-reinforcing loop. That's why the downside on Hex was also so nasty, right? It was because it was the reverse of that. As something went out of demand, price went down with it.
Yep.
So when things are good in Hex, they're great, right? That's why the squeeze is going on in price, and why you're seeing Hex continue to rise off these levels. It's got a long way to go still before you're even touching these resistance points at 10 to 14 cents. So.
Yep.
Veblen good all the way. And with that, we have actually proof that this asset actually does go up the most in terms of staker count when the price is rising the most, and that was like going back to any of these larger spikes on this yellow line. The yellow line represents stakers, and then obviously these blue bars are representing price of Hex. And so you can see that the most stakers came in at the heaviest times before and during big price moves. Even here at 6.5 to 8 cents, here at the pulse chain sack phase when you went up to 20 cents in like days, and then when we ran all the way to 56 cents, that's when you saw the steepest increase of new stakers. So generally, people learn about Hex when it's already rising, not at the bottom when there's low interest and low volume. So now that the freaking ball is rolling on Hex, like it's really good because now like again, Hex is a Veblen good. It's going to continue to rise. And like, so just, quick little shout out to that shark. If you did want to market dump right now, I feel free. Like if you wanted to dump all 90 million right now, you have currently, this morning he had $6 million of Hex, but now since the price has come up, now he's got $6.2 million. So he's made 200 grand just sitting on the asset. And if he wanted to market dump right now, he'd move the price down 21%, and I'd be willing to bet people would be happy to buy it up at a 20% discount off these levels. But he'd be only pulling out $4.8 million worth of USDC, even though his dollar amount here says 6.2 million, and that's because of the liquidity setup, right? So you're pulling out USDC, you're putting Hex back in, resets the ratios, and you're not going to get the full 6 million. You'd have to sell slowly over time. But here's the problem: is if he decides to be smart about it and sell in 10 million batches, you'd have to do 10 million batches 9 times to get the 90 million sold, and each time you'd make roughly 680 grand if the price goes sideways, right? So if he sells it and it goes up a little bit, he sells it, goes up a little bit, and it's still going to hold trend because we have this situation going on where the amount of buyers is outnumbering the sellers on all the pairs. So like, you can see here on the right side of my screen, there's 341 buyers to 134 sellers on the Hex USDC 1.3% pair. That's that's over a 2-to-1 ratio, right? 260. That's almost what is that? Like almost 3-to-1.
Yep.
And then on the WETH pair, this is where all the volume's coming in and is on ETH. And look how well Hex is just destroying ETH. This means that you're making more ETH by sitting in Hex than you were sitting in ETH. You could have made 240% more ETH by sitting in Hex off the bottom, right? Yep. And even since that whale got in, he's made 30% more ETH in Hex than he had sitting in ETH. And so this is the power of it, right? You compound that with time locking and you're set.